SmackDown hot takes, let's go. Wrestle says Drew McIntyre effortlessly destroying 4 guys in one promo is just proof of what we already knew, which is that the product is already significantly more entertaining with him as champion, and it just allows for guys like Jacob and Cody to shine as well. Yes, it does. Drew McIntyre, it's so refreshing to have a heel, a champion, walk into the ring and just badmouth everybody. I don't care what the audience wants to talk about. I don't care who we want to respect tonight. I like the no respect. I like that Drew McIntyre gave so little respect that he's literally calling out Sami Zayn's kid. I like the fact that when people see Drew McIntyre, they want to challenge and punch him in his face, all right? I don't like that Sami slapped Drew and then Drew did nothing about it, but I do like that Sami Zayn didn't walk up to Drew, look at his belt and say, "You know I'm coming for that, right?" And then Drew to be like, "All right, I'll see you when you get there." And that kind of respect I hate. I do not respect when wrestlers respect each other. I'll tell you that much right now, because as The Miz said earlier in the show, what happened to the hatred? What happened to the animosity of wrestling? It's like, it's what makes things entertaining, and Cody Rhodes is so much more entertaining as a babyface as he fights another babyface who actually doesn't like him. Are you telling me that Cody Rhodes and Jacob Fatu promo would have been better if Jacob had come in, sat down, and was like, "You know what, Cody, I respect all that you've done," and they just glazed each other, to see who could give the bigger compliment? I know they were in Canada and all, but I don't need that. I love that this Jacob Fatu is an angry babyface who will just tell it like it is to Cody Rhodes, and that Cody Rhodes, he can't get his usual politician speech on. Jacob's having none of it, and so now Cody is more entertaining because he doesn't have someone he can respect back. It's so much better for 4 people to actually hate the champion. Like, literally, if that champion right now was Cody Rhodes, you would have had 3 interviews last night about respect. Randy Orton would have came in and was like, "Hey man, we've been friends for a long time, but I'm coming for the belt." Damian Priest would have been like, "Hey man, I respect your position as the face of the company, but I need to come for that belt." And Trick Williams would have been Trick Williams, and he's amazing. And then Sammy would have been like, "Hey man, we're friends, but yeah, I haven't ever been champion, and it's my time." That's what we would have got last night. But instead, it's, "I'm gonna murder you, Drew McIntyre." Isn't that more interesting? Drew McIntyre is definitely what the product needed. I really, really hope. I know I'm wearing a Sami Zayn shirt, but I really, really hope that Sami does not win tonight at Saturday's main event, and that we get Drew McIntyre walking into WrestleMania as champ. I'm not going to lie, Cody Rhodes, when he does have a good opponent, he does become interesting. I do like when Cody feuds with Roman Reigns, but boy howdy, I will love when Drew McIntyre feuds with Roman Reigns. Their dynamic would be different now anyways. Roman Reigns is now a face, so I don't want to see face Roman versus face Cody. I want to see face Roman versus heel Drew. More hot takes. We got Jacob was good, says Daniel Kinser. MFT's got the titles finally. Jade's a jobber, and Kit Wilson is hilarious. And Mello and Ilya was an awesome match. Meh show, in my opinion. This was definitely the worst of all the SmackDown so far. And the problem with it is there were some good things that happened, as you mentioned, but the problem is the show's just too long. The Carmelo Ilya match, it's a banger, but when I have a banger every week, they're no longer bangers. They're just something to wait out. Like, all right, this match is starting in 25 minutes. Tell me when it's over so I can look up from my phone and see who's the winner, because it's only the last 3 minutes that are going to be like, ah! But yeah, I need less bangers, more stories leading into PLEs. That's where you have your bangers. Then we go, and Jade's a jobber. I don't think Jade's a jobber. I really don't, but I do think that her title reign sucks, but that's because they haven't given her any storylines. Again, stories. Like, just Give them stories. Her title reign sucks, but as I said last night on my review, every women's title reign has sucked this year with the exception of Naomi's. And that's because they don't give them proper stories. Tiz Mickey says, I can't believe I'm saying it, but I'm actually excited for Saturday night's main event tomorrow, which is tonight. Yep, we're doing a watch along, and we will do hot takes tomorrow as well for Saturday night's main event. So come and watch. I'll do a one shot, one take review also tonight. Dashin Negan says it was probably the weakest episode of the crowd not loud enough. Some matches there was no reaction like the tag team match. Well, get used to it. I mean, we're gonna get more and more no reactions or wrong reactions because they're pricing out people. So that means those kids who just will cheer at anything and just be like, well, they can't afford it because their parents can't afford tickets for a family of 4 anymore. So, you just get a bunch of Big Daddy TKO will have a big swimming pool, but the crowd participation will get less and less. Even in Europe, on this last little tour they did, they were not all sellouts. Tracy Woods says, is it just me, or was everybody blowing off Kathy Kelly more than usual tonight? I read somewhere several months ago that she was training at the center in Florida. Maybe she's going to get angry at being ignored and start a brawl. I did not notice that. But I will say that, yeah, maybe, but I wish they'd do more of that. I used to love when they disrespected the person holding the microphone. Oh my God. Go back and watch The Rock with Jonathan Coachman and Michael Cole. And actually, Jackie Redmond just said in a Chris Van Vliet interview that she wishes that the wrestlers would be mean to her. But she was also like, yeah, that was just a different time. Yeah, too much respect in today's day and age. And I'm not gonna lie, it would be cool if one day Becky is like, just going off on her and then suddenly Kathy Kelly just knocks her out. We're like, holy crap, where did that come from? It's OTW says Jacob's gonna dog walk Cody at Saturday's main event, like when Brody Lee did to him in AEW. It would give Cody's character another reason to change. Oh gosh, I hope you're right. I don't need Cody to go on a losing streak, but I do think he can suffer some setbacks, and definitely this is a setback that I think would help both dudes. Cody losing to Drew has made him more interesting. Now, if he lost to Jacob, holy cow. Jacob then would be like really have the rocket ship on him, but then it's like, what's Cody going to do? Cody has to rebound at WrestleMania or at Royal Rumble. And so like he would be more interesting walking into Rumble if that happens. And then when he gets tossed over the rope, again, it's like, wow, what are we doing with Cody? And he'll become that character that we want to follow again. Nike fan says Jacob cut a great promo tonight. WWE needs to have Fatu go over on Saturday night's main event. Yeah, and what I really liked about Jacob's promo last night was the fact that he did not spam his catchphrases. All right, I did not hear him repeat one thing. No, all gas, no brakes, no this, no that. I don't mind catchphrases. I actually love catchphrases to a certain degree, but it seemed like if Jacob only had 30 seconds, he was getting every catchphrase in, and it get to the point where he was almost saying nothing. And so last night, though, he got the catchphrases off, and he said so freaking much. He had an answer for everything, like when Cody was like, yeah, it's your fault that I was going to lose the title, and he's like, no, it wasn't. Drew was about to get out anyways. I stopped him. And then you got in my face. That's when I got in your face. Yeah, well, you were in jail. Yeah, I was in jail, but here I am now. What's up about that? He's like, your words aren't hurting me. Jacob was so good last night and intense, and you felt it. It felt real. Rick M9T says, it might be a rant, but I don't care. I need to get this out of my system. I thought the Wyatt Six was supposed to be a continuation of what Bray stands for. They were so good when they were fighting against evil people who did bad things to others. It was so nice, magical, and scary at the same time. Now they're just hungry for championship belts like other tag teams. Well, I mean, Bray Wyatt, he only went after what he perceived as evil, but he was actually going after faces. Bray Wyatt was in theory a heel. but I get what you're saying. What are they doing? When they went after the tag teams in the beginning, they were like, "We're here to test your brotherhoods," and it doesn't seem like they're testing anyone's brotherhoods. And if that was the case, why wouldn't they go after the New Day on Raw? Because the New Day literally kicked out one of their brothers. You get what I'm saying? So I totally understand the Wyatts are directionless. I mean, yeah, they're in a feud right now because of the Lantern and stuff, but like, what is their real purpose? Say they get the Lantern back. What is their purpose? What are they doing? And if they just want championships and they say something like, we want all the championships because that's how we can be seen, fine, readjust. Readjust your motives. That's okay. But you gotta tell us. Go Buggy says, I hate how WWE announced Roman Reigns for the Royal Rumble because Roman is too good for Raw and SmackDown. Like, why couldn't he do it himself? I don't understand why we couldn't at least do... Remember how The Rock used to do Instagram videos? I don't understand why we can't at least do that. Like, if we don't want to fly Roman in and waste one of his precious appearances, I do get that. But at the same time, like... Roman can't do a 5-minute promo on how he's gonna destroy everybody in the Rumble. Like that's a little lame. That is a little lame. I love Roman Reigns. He is the tribal chief, but come on. I will say though that, I mean, Roman didn't appear last year either. He didn't do anything to hype his appearance in the Rumble, except for one time he sent Paul Heyman out to Cody Rhodes, where Paul Heyman said, on behalf of my tribal chief, I'm announcing Roman in the Royal Rumble. So Roman did this last year too. So that's not an excuse. Just because it was wrong last year to do it, doesn't make it right this year to do it. But I am saying, don't forget, this is now the second year in a row that we could not bring in Roman. Skywalker 3 says, drawn out ad fest 2026. There were a lot of ads. And Drew needs to return that receipt to Sammy ASAP. No way they have Drew looking this week as champion. I agree. That was like, I get what they're doing. Oh, Drew's going to get his revenge tonight. Nah, Drew McIntyre is not the type of dude that should get slapped and let it slide. He should instantly crash out and then do something even worse. Then he pours sugar in the gas tank or something. But Gunther can do that. Gunther is that calm, collective dude who you can slap, and then next week he will literally wipe your blood on his chest and taste it. That's the type of guy Gunther is. So it can happen, but not with Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre, like, you cannot slap Drew McIntyre and just let him like, what was that? Teddy Boy Ward says, Elliott needs to do something with his hair. He has to move it out of his face before every move he does. I don't know. I didn't really notice that, but if his hair makes him look unique, then fine. If he's just going to shave his hair off and look like Austin Theory, then I'd say keep his hair. What he really needs to stop doing, though, is, I don't have much of an opinion on it, by the way, but what he really needs to stop doing is that pin. After he does the elbow, the Constantine special or whatever it's called, he pins them in such a weird and awkward way. I feel like I need to take a shower after I watch him pin somebody. Go Buggy says, I think Jade Cargill is having one of the worst title reigns of all time. Like, it's not just her, though. I think people need to say that I think that WWE books women's champions horribly. Because, yes, her title reign sucks, but so did Tiffany Stratton's, with the exception of her feud with Charlotte Flair. Stephanie Fakir, is her title reign much better? No, it kind of sucks too. There's no storylines. Rhea Ripley, what did she do for her title reign? She had a good match with Nia Jax, but for the most part, it was nothing. Io Sky had one good match at WrestleMania, and then she went on to not defend her belt for ages. There was they have dropped the ball time and time again with the women's championship. Heck, even when Nia Jax had the belt the previous year, she lost her last 7 matches as champion. So, Jade Cargill, I fully admit that her title reign sucks. But it's not because it's Jade Cargill who sucks. It's because they are not writing good storylines for any of the women champions. with the exception of Naomi. But I think that's more Naomi being rising above creative and being the amazing wrestler character that she is, that she was the exception. Go Buggy says, did Damian Priest really punk out Trick Williams on the mic? Because I think Damian Priest is right about Trick being all talk, no action. I don't see why. I see Trick being all over the place. I don't feel that he's no action at all. Honestly, this might be a hot take, but hey, that's what this is, right? I think they kind of protect Damian Priest on the microphone. I think Damian Priest, while he's not like the worst talker on the mic, he does not feel like if I had to give him a grade, he'd be like a C+. He'd be like a C+. Every once in a while, he knocks it out of the park, but for the most part, he's not great on the mic. But when I see him go up against people like Drew McIntyre or Gunther or even Trick Williams, it seems like they always hold back. I'm wondering if they're told to hold back so they don't make Damian look like a fool. I don't know, but like, He's literally punking out everybody else from Randy to Sammy, but when it comes to Damian Priest, he does kind of just shut up, which is a little like, it's got me thinking. What's the deal? What's the deal with Damian Priest? Why is everybody so afraid to talk to him on the mic? He's not that good on the microphone. And what people heard was, why do you hate Damian Priest? How could you? That's not what I said. I didn't say anything about how I felt about Damian Priest other than his mic skills. Carbuncle says, I'm pretty tired of these skinny little entranceways with no set design. I just think back to 2004 Raw with the big stage and the wide camera shots. Or what about the SmackDown Fist? Oh, yeah. Vince McMahon knew how to put on a show. And TKO, I bet it costs too much money. I bet it costs too much money for them to have to set all that up, have to ship it from one site to the next, plus they can fit more butts in the seats. So, yeah, it sucks. I don't mind it sometimes. Like, for Saturday Night's Main Event, I actually kind of like the short, like the very cramped feeling, but like it takes it away though. Once you do it every week on Raw and SmackDown, it takes it away from Saturday Night's Main Event. Alfonso Passion says, where's Kit Wilson? Why did he not have a match or a live segment? Toxic. You answered your own question. It's toxic masculinity. Nick Aldis must be so insecure with himself as a man that he does not want to put a real man like Kit Wilson on TV. Chug Speedman says Roman Reigns couldn't even bother to show up to announce his Rumble entry. He should not win at any cost. I do think he'll win. I actually even wouldn't mind him winning. However, if he's not gonna show up, then I guess I would mind. Then we got LT. Randy's gonna go into Saturday's Main Event as the only one who hasn't taken a beating. Makes me think he might not win. He's not winning. He'll probably RKO someone, and then someone will steal the victory on him. Then we got Charles Yancey. Jordan should have choked loser stale champion Jade Cargill with her belt. They should have done something. Jordan Grace being out there did absolutely nothing to further that storyline. She just stood out there the whole time, didn't interfere one time, and then when she does get in the ring and do a face-to-face with Jade Cargill, all she says is, I'm entering the Royal Rumble. See you later, champ. Like, how's that supposed to get me interested? Like, how am I supposed to be really invested in Jade Cargill versus Jordan Grace if they're so cordial to each other? This is what I was talking about earlier. There's no animosity. Here we have a heel and a face, and there's still really no real meat to this feud. Other than, I want your champion, and I'm going to come for your champion. And then Jade's like, no, you're not. I'm staying champion, and I don't care what you say. Jimbo Slice says Sammy is much better character when he actually carries confidence and knows how good of a pro wrestler he is. Sammy Uso is dead. Give me cocky Sammy. I actually liked Sammy more than usual last night. Now, I did not like that he slapped Drew, and Drew did not retaliate, but I do like that Sammy did have the gutso to slap Drew. I like that he got in Damian Priest's face. Sami Zayn was in the wrong last night when he was like, Damian Priest, I'm going to come out to your ring, even though Damian said don't. But Sammy's just like, I'll do what I want. I'll do what I want. And I would like to see more of that. In no world will I ever believe that Sami Zayn is the underdog again the moment he beat Gunther. Don't do that again. Until he turns into a sniveling heel once more, babyface Sami has to come across strong, whether you like it or not. That's how he's been booked. So I don't want to hear him ever say underdog again. And what people will hear is, oh my God, you want Sami Zayn to win the world title? No, I did not say that. Main Event Fro says Cody definitely had something to do with Jacob being attacked. I'm beginning to think you might be right. I'm beginning to think you might be right. Or is it going to be Randy Orton? And they swerve at the end. Definitely wasn't Drew McIntyre. And Drew addressed it. He's like, I'm many things, but I'm not a liar. So I definitely don't think it was Drew McIntyre. I wish it was Cody, but I'm thinking it was Randy. TTJC says, I love that the MFTs won the tag titles. I hope Liv Rocks wins tomorrow so we can get them at versus Julia and Kiana James. Trick winning by DQ is just fine to keep his streak going, and he can brag about that streak. Yeah, Liv Rocks, they're not winning. I just don't see them winning. I don't think they're going to take the belts off of Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. But the MFTs, hopefully they can do something more with the titles than the Wyatts did. Because at first when the Wyatts won, it was kind of cool. They were like the end boss. But then we didn't see nothing after that. Interesting, though, that they didn't put Tonga Loa or JC Mateo, hate that name, in this matchup. It's like, it feels like that's the tag team. Feels like Solo should be the main event guy. Tama Tonga should be the US, the mid-card guy. Then you have your tag team over here, and then you have your tall guy as the enforcer. But, I don't know. Kid Wilkes says The Miz should challenge Carmelo Hayes as the Calgary Kid. Oh, yeah, you're right. I think, was The Miz fired or something? And then he came back as the Calgary Kid under a mask. You're right. They should have done that. Especially they should do it while they're in Canada. That would have been funny and hilarious. Yeah, Devin Ford says that selling the first 48 was amazing by Ilya. Just saying, it was amazing. I was not interested in this match because, again, they do banger matches every week, so I did lose interest, but it was a good match. I could tell it was a good match, and then that sell job was amazing. He does the first 48, and Ilya just, kind of flips. It was really cool. They do have good chemistry. I just wish they would funnel that into a storyline, because like The Miz said, what's with all just giving out title shots and all this, respect? It sucks. Curryville T-Rex says, it doesn't feel like the Royal Rumble is a week away. No, it doesn't. They why are we having a Saturday's main event right before Royal Rumble? It just diminishes them both. I'll tell you why we're doing it. Money! That's why we're doing it. But God, I don't hate that WWE is a profitable company, but I just hate that their only concern right now is profits, because it just dilutes the whole product. Eric Shook says, Jacob's promo was the best yet. I was on the edge of my seat during that segment. Oh yeah, that was his best segment. That was his best segment. If he could keep that energy going, maybe do one catchphrase per interview, chef's kiss. Mike Hoax Big says, doing AJ versus Shinsuke at Saturday's main event is making me feel like the Rumble might actually be it for AJ. Honestly, I think you're right. I am really beginning to think that AJ will lose this match, and I can't believe it. He said 2026 was his end of his career, but I didn't think they would just take him out to the shed in January and God, that would be such a waste. I hope we don't do that. And I also hope that you boys and you girls have a great day. I'll see you for Saturday night's main event tonight. See ya, bye.